Right, welcome back. We're now going to put our braces in, our diagonal braces in. What I've done is I've pre-cut these just to aid the speed of doing the video in. But what you need to basically do is, if you lift the actual structure off the building board just enough so we can slide the actual balsa bits underneath, and then all we need to do is push them into position directly over their respective places, and with a pen or pencil just mark the areas where we need to cut. There's two angles to cut on this, and I find this is the best way of doing it because you can get a more accurate cut that way. Once we've done that, obviously you need to push all this back down onto our building board nice and firmly, making sure it's all nice and square. And in the instructions it actually says that we need to pack up underneath these struts bits of 332 to just raise them off the board, so once the model's covered we shouldn't see them peering through the actual text covering. Okay, so I've done that. The next thing to do is to take our aliphatic glue, put a little blob of glue on either end as so, and then carefully push them into position, making sure they're sitting nicely on top of our packers, and then just repeat the procedure all the way through until we get to the other end, like so. Okay, it should be quite a tight fit because we want to make sure that this adds strength to the structure, so we want to make sure they're nice tight fit. And there we go. I'll just do this one and then we'll move on to the next stage once I've put the rest in. There we go. It's important to remember that we don't get any glue on these packers because we don't want to stick the packers to the actual structure itself. Okay. Right, so I've completed putting the vertical braces in there, or diagonal braces as they're called in there, and as you can see I've pinned them down so they are actually sitting nice and firmly on top of the 332 scrap balsa. We now need to move on to the elevator section according to the instructions, and what I've done while I've been waiting for these to start curing is I've taken the liberty of cutting the bits and pieces required to make up the elevator. The next job is to do our usual dry fit to make sure everything lines up, and it's also telling us in here that we need to put in 332 spacers in to give us our gap, so that when we place our hinges in there's enough gap for them. So without further ado, what I'll do is I will put these leading edges in of the elevator and carefully position them, making sure they're nice and tightly butted up to the trailing edge of the towel without hurting my fingers. Okay, then I'll just put one more packing piece in there just to get that right distance. Next, the other side, which I'll put here. As you can see, I've already tried doing this once just to speed things up for the video again, and it's just a matter of getting everything into position, lining it up, make sure that we're happy, and these need pinning in place. We have a dowel joiner which is 4 inches long and 3/8 in diameter. Need to push that in to make sure that fits, and again with our packers just push the packers into place. If I can find the other one, and then from there we can start putting our other bits and pieces that we need to put in there. The other thing I've decided to do as well, I was waiting for this, was to cut all the bits to finish this elevator and tail section off. The reason I've done this, because in the pack there's two pieces of 3/8 square, and they're only giving you just enough wood to actually complete the project. So what I thought I'd do, make sure I didn't go cutting off wrong lengths. So I've measured it all out, and I've actually come up with the bits and pieces I require to finish the elevator without actually wasting any of the wood or cutting it too short, making it too short for myself. So again, push this in, line it all up, tack it down, likewise this. Then we need to put our spars in. Again, they're a nice tight fits because we want it all to bond nice and tightly together. That's it. And there we go, it's all sitting in there quite nicely. Line it all up, all the way along. And then we've got our other bits and pieces here. We've got some little packers here that help secure the elevator joiner into place, keeping it all nice and tight. And we have a small gusset piece here that will sit in there. That's not again just yet, and that's basically all lining up, looking pretty good. Likewise, I'll be doing the same with the next one. What I'll do now is I'll just turn off the video for a minute, start getting these all sorted out, and come back to you, and you should see them all glued into place.